it's up. I just you just have to turn the volume up. I think when it's
Yeah, no, we're good. I think we're good. Just as long as it's on the desktop.
it's on the desktop right now.
Carlos.
Yeah.
Oh, she's.
Good evening. I would like to call this Planning Commission meeting of April 22nd, 2019 to order. Madam Secretary, would you please take roll?
Chairman Mark McLaughlin.
Here.
Vice Chair Cynthia Contreras Leo.
Here.
Commissioner Eric Alderetti. Commissioner Felix Rivera.
Here.
Commissioner Kenneth Wen. Commissioner David Benavides. Commissioner Angie Kano.
Here.
Chairman McLaughlin, we have a quorum. The meeting can begin.
Thank you. Would you all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Felix, would you lead us on the pledge?
Ready? Begin.
Thank you, Felix. We will now move on to public comments. Does any member of the public have a public comment on a non-agenda item? If you do, please come forward to fill out a card. At this point, I do not have any cards for non-agenda items. So, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing for non-agenda items.
Mr. Chair, I thought we could speak twice, no?
Well, this is non-agenda items.
Right, you can't speak twice.
You can speak for a non-agenda item. If you,
I'll have to think of one real quick. Thank you.
okay. We'll move to the consent calendar. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the last Planning Commission meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the last commission meeting.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. 3 absentee commissioners. Now we have a motion to approve the absentees of Commissioner Benavides, Commissioner Alderetti, and Commissioner Wynn.
I'd like to make a motion to approve as so moved.
Second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. 3 absent commissioners. We'll move to the business calendar. If you wish to address the Planning Commission on any item, please fill out a request to speak form with the Secretary. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes unless an extension is otherwise granted by the Chair. The formal action of the Planning Commission shall become effective after the 10-day appeal period unless City Council holds a public hearing on the matter. Then the formal action will become effective on the day following the hearing and a decision by the City Council. An appeal from the decision or requirement of the Planning Commission must be filed with the Clerk of the Council and a copy sent to the Planning Commission within 10 days of the date of the Commission's action. The appeal may be made by any interested party, individual, or group. Our first item on the agenda is to have a presentation from Department of Public Works on the 2018-2019 Capital Improvement Program.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, it's a 2019-2020 CIP.
That's what I thought, but that's what, I just followed what was written, my bad. All right. 2019, 2020.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioner. I'm Kenny Wen from Public Works Agency. Tonight I'm going over the proposed 2019-2020 Capital Improvement Program, also known as CIP. CIP is a fiscal document that go over the major capital expenditure for a given fiscal year. In this case, for the fiscal year 2019-2020, it will start on July 1st of this year. The CIP is part of the budget adoption. So after the Planning Commission meeting, it will continue on with the budget process to be approved by the City Council. So once adopted, it will become the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. What we're looking here for the upcoming fiscal year is about a quarter of the CIP budget allocated for street improvement. That's in purple right here. And about half of the budget is allocated for the utility and drainage improvement. Since the development of the water and sewer master plan in 2017, we have been working on the funding plan, and we are wrapping up the design process for many water and sewer projects. That's why there's to get ready for the construction phase of the upcoming fiscal year. That's why there is an increase in budget for the utility and drainage improvement. So in all, we have about almost $61 million of the CIP budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And the quarter remaining of the CIP will be allocated for traffic and city facility. Some of the highlights for street improvement, including the Senate Bill 1, SB 1. Under this program, it provides additional gas tax funding for street improvement in the city of Santa Ana. So for next fiscal year, we plan to resurface several segments of Euclid from South City Limit all the way to Hazard. We also plan to repave Main Street from Warner to Edinger in coordination with the South Main Corridor project, so that by the completion of this project, we will have all the enhanced crosswalk and improved pedestrian facility and new pavement along Main Street from Warner all the way to First Street. For next fiscal year, we also plan to partner with the city of Costa Mesa to repave MacArthur from Harbor to the Santa Ana River. In total, we plan to repave about 16 miles of street center line for next fiscal year. For the next category is the traffic improvement. Some of the highlight here is the 4 project Safe Route to School, where we plan to improve all the safety and mobility in area surrounding 6 elementary and intermediate school. We also plan to add 4 more miles of bike lane, and we upgrade 4 traffic signal. For the next category, about $30 million for water and sewer improvement. These basically are the improvements to upgrade water, sewer, infrastructure, and facilities citywide, as well as street light. For next fiscal year, we plan to upgrade over 22,000 feet of water line. That's about equivalent of over 4 miles of water line, and over 19,000 feet or 3.5 miles of sewer line, along with other facilities, water and sewer facilities citywide. For the next category is the city facility. Of the $6 million allocated to this type of project, some of the highlights including various type of improvement for Adams Park and Centennial Park, include the restroom and the walkway improvements, and also upgrade the lighting at Centennial Park. In addition to that, we also plan to add lighting at El Salvador Park and Riverview Parks, so that we could, so that the public could extend the use of the amenities, later into the night. So these are some of the future programs that we're working on. For the SB1, as I mentioned earlier, that is the additional gas tax that we receive from the state. For the upcoming fiscal year, we plan to do 5 projects, and these 5 projects have been approved by the city council last week. ATP is an active transportation program where we plan to improve the safety and mobility to make it safer for pedestrian and bicycle. So we received $8 million so far for the current fiscal year. We also apply additional $6 million, but it hasn't been approved yet for this program. For the drought tolerance, median, and conversion, we are looking into funding source and different technology to provide like irrigation for trees and landscape median, since we kind of go away from the turf program and you could see along like major corridor like Bristol, Grand Avenue, and because we're under the mandate that we had to reduce the water usage for irrigation. For fiber optic, we are about 75% complete with the master plan of fiber optic. We also in coordination with communication provider like Verizon, AT&T to develop a master agreement to provide funding and also adding cell tower to provide wireless citywide. For AMI, that's advanced metering infrastructure. That is basically the program to upgrade on the existing water meter to digital wireless reading meter. So basically, once we upgrade, this system will provide like a more timely leak notification to the city so that we could address the issue, and we also provide a more efficient service to the public. So we currently, for next month, for this program, next month we will go to City Council to award a contract, the program management contract to the consultant. From then on, this consultant will develop technology that's compatible with our current existing system. Currently, if we combine all the current project that we're working on with the proposed CIP for 2019-2020, we will have about $257 million a project in total. And yeah, you could see here, the breakdown here is about like 46% of that will be allocated for street improvement. The other quarter, a quarter of that will be for traffic improvement, and 20% for utility and drainage, and the remaining 9% is for city facility. We track all the CIP project on the in a file similar to this, and this file can be seen on the city website. Basically, each line is a separate project that tracking all the phase of that project and also the status of that project. So if you want to know a specific project, you could go on our website and find out the schedule from this tracking tool. As part of the CIP budget and the part of the city budget and the CIP adoption, we attend all the community meeting, neighborhood meeting, and Comlink meeting as of last month. So after tonight, the CIP will be part of the budget approval that will be on the 2 meeting in June, coming up on June 4th and June 18th. Once adopted by the City Council, the budget will start on July 1st, and we could start using funding for these new proposed projects. This concludes my presentations, and I could take questions and comments.
Do any of the commissioners have a question for staff? Go ahead, Angie.
In the other funding resources, I see here that you added cell tower revenue. For those funds, is it I do see like an other section in the funding for the,
Are you referring to the page?
let me see what page this is. It's before the projects sheet.
Oh, okay, the summary page.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
okay.
cell tower revenue. Is this something specific? Like, does it have to be specific to something as to where the cell tower money goes to? Or is it just generally, it can go into any project that the city wants?
I could double check with Park and Recs department on this and get back to you on this, because basically the description of the funding, Park and Rec apply for this part of funding and provide the project for us to implement as part of CIP. So when we start, I could discuss with Park staff to see if they are restricted to certain type of project.
Thank you. And I'm just asking because the community understands in each of the park areas that that money is supposed to be specific. I'm not sure for what, but it doesn't specify in the sheets as to where it's going. That's why I just wanted to know if it
Okay.
was added in these numbers or if that's something specific.
Okay.
And can I ask another question?
Ask as many as you'd like.
And then for the other section, on the one-year capital improvements program fiscal year report, what does that mean? I see really large numbers on that section. I do see gas tax, measure, other. Are those the 7 other funding sources you mentioned?
Are you referring to page 6?
From page 1 all the way to page 6.
Okay,
there's
so
some other section.
page 1 through page 6 are the summary of the allocate funding for different type of project and different funding source.
Okay.
It's kind of like usually we list the main funding, like the capital outlay as part of the general fund, and the Measure M and the gas tax. Those are the general fund. Those are the typical main funding that we've been allocate annually. So that's why we list right there. And you could, it's basically a summary of all the worksheet that following after that. So if you total all that, as I could refer back to this beginning slide right here, that's $60 million, $728,000. That is the summary at the end on page 6.
62 million, I do see that, okay.
Oh, these other, there's other funding source. Like if you go to the next page, they indicate like there's there's a footnote on the top, like superscript at the top. They would say like whether 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So the next page they will indicate what type of funding that is.
Got it, thank you so much. That
Okay,
makes
sorry
more
about
sense.
that.
Yes, thank you.
And then if there will be and you go like at beginning, each funding source description, they have the funding source and the general idea of what each funding source is about.
So that's the footnote for that list at the end.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
From the spending standpoint, how does this year, proposed upcoming year, match up with this current year as far as spending?
For 18-19, that's an increase from 41 million to 60 million. As I indicated, most of that is from the utility, water, and sewer. We've been developed like funding plans, so we've been designed. So because the design budget is usually smaller compared to construction budget, so we are wrapping up those things, and so we allocate for construction funding for those water and sewer improvement. That's why there's a big increase from 41 to 60. In addition to that, there's additional revenue from the cell tower that I don't think we received much from last year and stuff like that.
So from a value, I think you said that this represents about $260 million?
In total, combined with the current ongoing project, combined with this fiscal year, then it's $257 million.
257, so, and last year was?
$41 million, almost $41 million.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions of staff at this time? Thank you, appreciate it. Madam Secretary, have we received any written communication on this item?
Chairman, we have not, Chairman.
Is there anyone that would like to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we'll close that. I'd like to take it back to the commissioners as a motion for this resolution. Okay.
Fiscal year 2018-2019 Capital Improvement Program, Strategic Plan Number 32.
It's 2019, 2020, because I made that mistake, and I know it says that, so it's 2019, 2020.
Capital Improvement Program.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second?
Second from Cynthia. Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, 4-0, 3 absence. Thank you. What I'd like to propose at this point in time is that instead of moving on to item number 2, I'd like to move item number 6 up next. And, sorry about that. Item number 6, and at this point in time, item number 6 is General Plan Amendment number 2019-01 and the amendment application of 2019-01 for the construction of a 226-unit multifamily residential community located at 651 West Sunflower Avenue. At this point in time, we would like to continue this item until May 13th. But having said that, I do want to give the opportunity to those that are here this evening, and they have submitted a speaker card, and we will open up at this point in time a public hearing for anyone that would like to speak this evening on what was item 6, the legacy project. So at this moment, I'd like to bring up the first person, Judy Edge.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Judy Edge. I live on Aurora Street, down in the Sandpoint neighborhood. I've been down there 41 years. And the reason I'm here tonight is to put everybody in the city on notice about the dangers of Sunflower Avenue. In 2013, my husband and I were almost killed because a young lady was texting, and she went from Main Street up to Anton, and she turned left in front of us. I had the green. Now, Costa Mesa has put in a left turn lane. So you have your maps of the project. Please visualize this. You're at the corner of Sunflower and Flower. You have one light there, and you're going east on Sunflower. You have no way to ingress your apartment unit off of Sunflower safely. You have to come down from the light and make a U-turn and go back west. A U-turn, guys, and go back west to get into your unit. If you know the area, Taft School with all those beautiful kids are down there. Their parents, even though they had an ingress and egress that was put in by the Nexus Company years ago, those parents still come out on Ross. And Ross Street, if you don't know the area, is between fourplexes, very narrow street, very narrow. I watched last week one car pulled out into Sunflower wanting to cross the street and just sat there. And I had Jorge Garcia from the city, if you guys know him. He came down and toured with me. We made a U-turn and almost got the rear of the car knocked off. So you've got my picture there. That's an issue, and I don't see how that's going to be mitigated. My next issue is on Sunflower, from Main Street down to Flower, all of the utility poles are still there. I stood out like a little kid went across Sunflower, the Enclave Apartments, they put all of their utility poles underground. And the only ones that are not underground is from Main down to Flower. And even they're underground around the drainage ditch. That street down there, Main and Sunflower, that is the southeast entry into our city. And it looks like the south end of a horse going north.
Judy, can we wrap up?
I will wrap up. And so you got the picture on that underground utility. And my last thing is, when they put in the mark over there, you guys remember, there was $1.6 million laid aside for in lieu park funds. Sandpoint Park never saw a dollar of it. I'm asking that in the development agreement, there's set aside for $1 million worth of repaving for our streets. That's going to take a lot of abuse south of MacArthur. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Judy. Tammy Friars and Alex Vallejo.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Hi. I'm Tammy
so
Frias.
You have 3 minutes. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
you're going to do the speaking?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Tammy
Okay.
Frias, I'm the president of Sandpoint Neighborhood Association. This is
Okay.
Alex Vallejo. He's the vice chair of Sandpoint Neighborhood Association. Alex and I have spent the last almost 2 years, 4 months shy of 2 years, negotiating the terms of an amicable agreement between Sandpoint and Legacy Partners. we're here tonight to tell you, as it stands now, our board of directors, which consists of 4 officers and 13 more board members, have unanimously accepted the terms of the agreement. We welcome Sunflower Project as part of Sandpoint. We're in the final stages of writing the contract right now, legal and so forth. So, thank you.
Okay, we thank you for your help on that and appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Terry Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and commissioners, right? Commissioners. Thanks for listening. I am employed by the Sound at the current church site, so I want to just make that clear. But I'm also a Sandpoint resident. I live in the neighborhood, and when I was asked to come up and speak, there were 2 things that I really thought about that would be beneficial for the city. Number 1 is revenue. Believe it or not, I've watched Channel 3 every once in a while. I know that's a little weird to admit, but one of the deals is the city is lacking funds. We're coming up on a big budget crisis. It seems like it gets bigger every year, and this project would provide not only a stable property taxes, but it would provide more people in coming into the city, in using the city functions that are right down the street, the beautiful, South Coast Plaza and that whole area and all the restaurants and everything like that. You don't have to go too far from your home to do it, which would be a really good thing. So me as a resident and a big family, we have a lot of kids and we have a lot of grandkids, and they all come to Santa Ana. They come to my house. So it's important to me for the city to maintain their infrastructure, their fire, and their safety. As many cops as we could get on the street. I'm a big proponent. I talk a lot to them at the church. They come by and, fill out their paperwork there, and I just chit-chat with them about, how things are going. And every one of them says, we need more guys in this area because we've had, issues. The county has done a good job with getting a lot of the homeless out of that riverbed that's right there, which is great, but there's still quite a bit of issues that happen, including, drug deals that happen in our parking lot. Not as much as before, thank God. It's diminished a lot, which is great. One more thing I'd like to mention. When we moved in 2009, I don't know when the mark was built, but I remember it when it started going up, and I thought, oh no, this is a nightmare. This is going to be a nightmare, because MacArthur going eastbound in the morning and westbound in the afternoon is a nightmare, because that's the way I get home. I get off at the freeway there. And honestly, it didn't make a difference. I kept thinking, no one must be renting at the Mark, because I don't see any real increase. So I just wanted to mention that. And then one more thing, you can use me as a resource. I know you might think I'm biased, but I'm an absolute upfront guy. My office sits and looks at flower and sunflower, and I'm there early in the morning, 6:30, and I usually don't go home until 6:30 or 7 o'clock. So I can speak to whatever traffic kind of questions that you may have. Use me as a resource if you like.
Thank you, Terry.
You bet.
Laura Miller?
Hi, I'm Terry's wife, Laura Miller. I live in Sandpoint with my husband. I wanted to just say that this project has been designed to consider the adjustment of multifamily residents and providing deep setbacks with view privacy. And I think that the design that they've proposed is going to be a positive impact on our property value as a Sandpoint resident, because the quality and the level of the apartments are going to be there. So I'm in favor of the apartment complex and the design that they've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Carissa Ortega?
Hi, my name is Carissa Ortega, and I'm currently employed by The Sound. So I support the Sunflower Project because they're addressing the concerns regarding parking in the community. So the apartments will be having a 2 parking per unit plan, but also they'll be implementing parking programs for the residents. Currently we have a lot of residents paying for parking there on our property, and that will definitely help with the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa. Fred Bellarzo? Sorry. It's okay.
Chairman, City Council, my name is Fred Ballarezo.
There you go. Close enough.
Yes, it was. I'm a resident of Santa Ana. I don't work at the Sound, but I do attend the church there, and the benefit far surpasses the usage of it. What it is right now, the property values I would imagine would increase exponentially. They would benefit from the attractive residential development, as with the surrounding businesses, with all this new development going up. As long as the parking has been addressed, I think it would be increasingly beneficial to the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Zoe Miller?
Hello. This is my least favorite thing to do, but because I am a Sandpoint resident and I am employed by the Sound, I am super passionate about this project going through. I think it'll be super duper beneficial for everyone. As you know, our property backs up to Taft Elementary School, and there are a lot of, thanks to Nexus, they did help with the parent drop-off pickup situation, but there's still a lot of confusion with the parents and where they're supposed to go, and I believe this project will influence that positively, creating a safer environment for the kids to be picked up and dropped off at. We are right next to the street, as you know, and I think that this building will definitely ensure children's safety and just a smoother transition for them.
Thank you, Zoe. Daniela Henry? Daniela?
Hi, I'm Danielle Heaney, and I am from the Sound as well. And I just wanted to show support for the project, the building project on the current property on Sunflower, mostly because the property being used as a church now is vacant frequently, whereas if it was apartments, there would be patrol people, there would be people living there going in and out a lot, and it would really help with the safety of the neighborhood. When there's a big dark parking lot, it invites people that maybe shouldn't be hanging out in a big dark parking lot, whereas an apartment complex like this with security and with, again, people just going in and out, I think it would help with the safety for everybody in the area.
Thank you, Donnell.
Thank you.
Victor Rodriguez.
Hello, Council. I'm Victor Rodriguez. I'm I attend the Sound, but I'm a tenant at the apartments west of Flower Street. The drop-off is my main concern. I think that if they can improve that in any way, it would be awesome, because it's kind of difficult right now. I actually make the U-turn the lady pointed out about earlier. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest. We go in through Flower and around the church building, and it's just not that easy with the kids and a lot of stuff. So if that can be improved in any way, that would be super helpful for the community and the school as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Boris Priestley.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Boris Gressley. I am here on behalf of the Carpenters Contractors Cooperation Committee. We are a watchdog organization committed to cracking down on wage theft and fraud through our labor and safety compliance activity. I'm here tonight neither to oppose or support the project. I'm here just to inform the Planning Commission that the California Department of Industrial Relations is currently investigating JPI Drywall, a subcontractor, for failure to pay prevailing wages at a project in Marina del Rey. Coincidentally, that project is one that Legacy Partner is developing with Greystar. And so we just hope that this project, if it moves further along, the developer would ultimately commit to making sure not to hire irresponsible contractors, but in fact hiring responsible contractors. And so that's all we wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Boris. Brenda Johnson? Brendan Johnson, sorry. Yeah, well, a little small. Got it. Thank you.
My doctor tells me I have worse handwriting than him, so not your fault. I'm Brendan Johnson, and my family has owned property and a business in the city since for actually about 30 years. One of the things that drew us to the city originally was seeing where it was located and seeing all the areas that we could draw from for employment base and where this city would be going. One of the things that's been frustrating over the years, though, is seeing how much Costa Mesa has changed on the south side of the street and how much has not changed on the north side of the street. So I'm here because I would support this project because I think it helps create that logical jump over Sunflower, where you have extremely high-end businesses that are right on the south side, and on the north side you have a church. I think there was a Toys R Us, and there used to be a Planet Hollywood restaurant as you kind of go down Sunflower Street. The other thing that I think is important to note is development is often opposed because of gentrification reasons. I think that this project is unique in that it doesn't actually gentrify anyone out of their homes. It only creates new homes that are more affordable. So for that reasons, as a business owner in the city, I would really support this project because I think it's a good first step to continue the progress up Sunflower. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Tim O'Brien.
Chair McLaughlin, my name's Tim O'Brien. I'm the applicant. If it would be okay, could I go at the end of the public comment?
Right now, as far as I have, you are at the end.
I am the end?
You are
Okay.
the end.
Then I'll go
So
now.
it's granted, you can do that. Okay?
Well, thank you. Good evening, Chair McLaughlin and Planning Commission members. My name is Tim O'Brien. I'm with Legacy Partners. I'm very pleased to be here today with Brian Haney as well, with the Sound Church, who we're venturing this project with. I'd also like to thank planning staff. We've worked with them for a long time, and they've done a terrific job. We've reviewed the conditions of approval, and I know you're not voting on those tonight, but that we do support those and are in agreement with those. I'd also like to thank the Sandpoint community, Tammy Frias and Alex Vallejo, and the balance of the board who have worked nearly 2 years with us to come to an agreement for support. And we appreciate these efforts of both planning staff and the community. I think that the project that's going to be before you is a much better project as a result of that working relationship. So it was really a very positive, kind of a positive process, so we appreciate it. Also, I brought letters of support from the Santa Ana Unified School District, and I'll leave those for your secretary to distribute. But again, we appreciate the school district support, who we also worked with. We have a short presentation, a video presentation that we wanted to show you.
At this point in time, this is a 3-minute speaking, public speaking, and as far as I'm concerned, with regards to that, we haven't taken the staff presentation, and therefore, we're not going to take any other presentations for this evening. We will take 3 minutes for a public hearing, and that's what we're doing at this moment.
I understand. Okay. That's it. We do have our team here, so if you do have any other questions, then we're available to answer them.
Great. We appreciate you coming
All
up.
right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, I have no more cards. Does anybody at this point in time like to speak on this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. I just want to point out a couple of things before we finish this item. I'd like to make sure that if there's any commissioner's disclosure on this item, we do that now.
Chair.
Go ahead.
I did meet with the developer and had a presentation of the project.
Thank you. Felix?
Same here. I also met with the developer and got a presentation of the project.
Angie?
I met with the applicant as well and got an overview of the proposal project.
Okay. And I had text conversations with Pam Cepeda, and I just wanted to put that on the record.
Chair McLaughlin?
Yes, sir.
If I
Yes,
could
ma'am.
clarify, we're not closing the public hearing tonight. We're going to continue
We're
it.
going to
If you
continue
vote to continue it
that's,
to the 13th.
sorry about that. But thank you for doing that. So we are continuing the public hearing until the next meeting. At this point in time, we'd like to make a motion to continue this item to the May 13th meeting, at which time we will also continue the public hearing.
Can I
So
ask
do we
a
have a
question?
motion? Pardon?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, ask a question.
Why are we moving it till further,
We're moving.
pushing the date? Yeah.
This morning, city staff received a transmittal, and the letter is identifying areas where they think the city did not complete the process of providing public notice. We're reviewing that, but just out of an abundance of precaution, we are continuing this matter to the May 13th meeting so that we can completely review that letter comment and respond to it appropriately.
Is there any way we can get a copy of that letter that was sent?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, do we have a motion to continue this item till May 13th?
Motion to continue the item till May 13th.
Do we have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0, 3 absent. Thank you. I appreciate everybody coming up and doing the public speaking at this time. Appreciate what you've done, and sorry for the inconvenience. Also, one more thing, Ivan and Ali are there, and if anybody wants to be noticed for the May 13th and did not receive a notice on the May 13th meeting, please see Ivan or Ali, and they will put you on a list. So when the agenda comes out for the May 13th meeting, you'll receive information and notice. Okay, thank you. This is the time and place to consider item number 2, zoning ordinance amendment number 2019-02, to amend several sections of Chapter 41 of the Santa Ana Municipal Code to define and establish the regulations to address group living facilities citywide. Staff has made a recommendation to continue this item to a date uncertain.
I'd like to make a motion to move as so.
Okay.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Alex? Okay. Does any of the commissioners have a question of staff at this point in time on this item?
Did we get information on that item?
You need to speak up a little bit.
Did we get information on that item?
No, staff has a draft ordinance. However, this topic has been very controversial, and there have been a lot of lawsuits. So we're waiting for the new city manager to come on board to see what the direction is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions of staff on this item? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Also, please note that David Benavides is here as of 6:30. Got it? All right. All those in favor of continuing item number 2 until a date uncertain, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0, 2 absent. Thank you. This is the time and place to consider item number 3, mitigated negative declaration number 2015-14, general plan amendment number 2017-03, track map number 2017-04, and variance number 2017-10 to allow the construction of 8 residential townhomes located at 3025 West Edinger Avenue in a low-density residential zoning district. On this matter, staff has recommended that we continue this item till May 13th, 2019. Do the commissioners have any questions at this point in time or comments to staff? Hearing none, I'd like to have a motion on this item.
Motion to continue the item to May 13th. Second.
Second from David Benavides. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0, 2 absent. Thank you. Now is the time and place to consider item number 4, Regional Planned Sign Program number 2018-01, to allow the construction of a variety of temporary and permanent signs at the existing Discovery Cube of Orange County Development located at 2500 North Main. At this point in time, staff has recommended that we continue this item to an unknown 2 weeks, to May 13th. Okay, so we're going to recommend that we move this item to May 13th. Do I have a motion to approve the continuance to May 13th?
Move for the continuance.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Second, Cynthia. Any discussion?
Why are we moving this item?
Okay. Vince?
Mr. Chairman, Planning Commissioners, we received correspondence late this morning that the Discovery Cube wanted to reconsider some of the conditions of approval on it, and their staff didn't have the ability to make a decision on some of those. It has to go to their board. It's So they need a little bit of time to get in touch with their board. So they've asked for a couple of weeks to make that connection between
Thank
their
you. It's just that I
agency.
saw some of their signs that had dates coming up, so I was just wondering why.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion, a second. At this point in time, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0, 2 absent. Thank you. This is the time and place to consider item number 5, conditional use permit number 2019-10 to allow the sale of distilled spirits for the premise, for on-premise consumption, and conditional use permit number 2019-11 to allow after-hours operation until 2 a.m. for Maurice's Hector number 1, located at 1801 South Main Street, Unit D and E. Please note that the Planning Commission decision is final unless appealed within 10 days of the decision of any interested party or group. Before we begin on this item, I'd like to have any disclosures that the commissioners might have at this time. I have one disclosure, and that is Mark Gong has reached out to me via text message and telephone and discussed this item with me. Vince?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Planning Commissioners, good evening. The item before you is a request for 2 CEPs this evening. CEP 1910 is for upgrade of an ABC license, and CEP 19-11 is to extend the hours of operation or otherwise allow them to operate after hours. And I'll get into more details momentarily. And this is for the existing restaurant, Marisco's Hector at 1801 South Main Street. So what they're asking for today is an upgrade of their existing license. They currently have a Type 41 ABC license, which is a beer and wine at a bona fide eating establishment, a restaurant. They're asking to upgrade that to a distilled spirits license to allow distilled spirits, alcohol, in addition to the beer and wine. They're currently operating under an old land use certificate issued back in 1988 when the building was built and first opened up. We issued LUCs, which have no conditions. We can't have any conditions attached to that LUC. So right now they're operating and selling beer and wine without any conditions at all upon them. So this application here before us gives us a chance to establish conditions and operational standards to this license. In addition to what they're asking for, there's also a vacant space just to the north of them, 600 square feet. They want to expand their existing restaurant into that vacant space. The application for after hours and for alcohol requires a CUP. And they were before this body back in 2017, where staff recommended approval, but the Planning Commission denied it for various reasons we can get into it a little bit later. But the only difference between the applications is this one here, they've got the expansion proposal as part of the application as well. Here's the location here, located on South Main Street. It's a small little strip center, just under 7,000 square feet. It's zoned commercial South Main, which has a different development standards. And then it's pretty much surrounded by commercial activities to the north, south, and west, and residential to the east. Here's a picture of the small little strip center, and this is Marisco's Hector right now. This is a site plan. In the red there shows our existing facility, just under 1,900 square feet. And then the yellow there, which is the expanded area, it used to be an office space before, and now this will bring them to just under 2,500 square feet of floor area once they're done, if approved with the expansion. Floor plan, proposed floor plan, you can see there, 2/3 to the right is existing. Then you can see the dotted line there to the left, and that's the expanded area. It's going to be additional seating areas for the restaurant. And the alcohol storage space is less than 2% of the floor area, which is below your 5% threshold. So project analysis here, the CEP, the purpose of the CEP, it's ancillary request, which means it's secondary to the food service out there. So it's going to be part of the additional dining opportunities. When you go and have your food, many people want to have margaritas, which requires a heavy alcohol, the heavy liquor license, in addition to beer and wine. So the upgrade allows them to have this full alcohol license within a bona fide eating establishment. When we review these applications, we look at several things. We look at our development standards, we look at police reports, police crime activity, we talk to the state ABC license there, go through code enforcement. So we look at a bunch of different elements when we're reviewing these licenses. So this project compliance with our municipal code, chapter 41. No active code enforcement actions on the site. There's nothing open right now for this location. Talked to the state about a month ago, and they have no issues with the license as well. They're just waiting for this license to be issued. And the police department, we asked them to run crime stats typically for the past year. We've done that. There's a minimum amount of crime occurring on the premises. We also asked to go back and let's check a 5-year window as well. And in a moment, I'll show you a slide about the crime stats occurring on the site. But basically, the police department didn't raise any issues with the application and is supportive of the applicant's request as well. Bill McGovern from police is here to give you more details if you want that information on type of crime activity occurring on the location there. We speaking to the Madison Park Neighborhood Association, spoke to them on several occasions, been to meetings, and they do have some concerns, which there's some residents here, they'll give you some of their feedback on this location, but we do realize there have been some concerns raised in the past and also currently. By approving the CEP, as I mentioned earlier, operational standards and conditions, we can now apply to this license. Again, currently with the LUC, there's no conditions, there's nothing. So this gives us a chance to add these conditions and we can enforce it, and if we have to, we can revoke the licenses if need be. Whereas with an LUC, there are no conditions to monitor. Now, one of the CEP actions before you is a CEP for after hours. Speaking with the applicant and hearing the feedback from the community, we decided to put the after hours on hold. So what we want to do is we're recommending to allow the ABC to move forward, put that after hours on hold for 6 months. Give us a chance to go out there and meet with the community, take a track record of the applicant, see how they're doing as far as complying with their standards, come back here in 6 months with a recommendation. We also have added a condition of approval in the CEP there that says come back in 1 year as well to do an annual review on this license here. So we've got a 6-month review built into the after hours, plus another 6 months after that. So we have a couple of built-in reviews to kind of monitor this location, be sure they're in compliance with all of our standards and conditions. Some additional facts for you here. Census tract says you can have X number of licenses based on the population. As you can see, they're below that. Census tract information is usually not as important with restaurants, more for off-sale, but just kind of see here, they're below their threshold that the state of California establishes for places to sell alcohol. And then as a cost for service, did a drill down on the type of cost for service. And again, Bill McGovern can give you more details, but over the past 5 years, there were 22 costs for service directly attributed to Marisco sector. And of those, 3 had actual police reports filled out. And you can see there was a fight where somebody got injured. There was a minor fight that occurred on the premises. The police had to show up. And there was an armed robbery. Robbery occurred to the facility. Other than that, there isn't any other significant activity at this location. And with that, staff's recommending that the Planning Commission approve the CEP 1910 for the ABC license upgrade, but continue the CEP 1911 to 6 months from now, which is October 2019.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Does Commissioner have any questions of staff? Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
On the conditions of approval for conditional use permit, you mentioned 6 months, but it says that staff will review at 1 year from the date of issuance. So is it?
Well, the recommendation on the cover sheet is continue the CEP 11, which is the after hours for 6 months.
After hours?
Yeah, that's the after hours. We'll come back here in October. I'll give you a new presentation, give you an update on the crime stats, update on conversation with the neighborhood, an update on everything with the site. And that'll be for after hours. And then the CEP for ABC is 1 year from the date that it activates. So that essentially a year from now. I'd come back again with a memo if it's minor comments. There's some significant items occurring on the premises. We can come back to Planning Commission and talk about adding conditions, changing conditions, revocation. So it depends on the type of concerns that are raised out there in the next year.
So there'll be 2 different timeframes?
Correct.
To check in with the community to see how it's going?
Correct. And the key is, which we don't do in other CEPs, is we're going to check in with this facility's business.
Now, I didn't read that piece, but is it in here in the resolution that in 6 months, planning staff will go and meet with the community?
No, but it's built in our typical work product. We have CEPs, and we go out there and outreach to the community. I've been involved in this project for 3 years. I know the communities have been involved, has some concerns, so we go out there automatically and touch base with them.
Does it need to be placed in here?
No. You can add it if you'd like to for some assurances, but part of our role in this whole process is to go out there and outreach to the community.
Thank you.
David?
Couple follow-up questions. And for the, as I understand, then the initial request in the initial application or this go around is for the after hours to go to 2 a.m. But they currently have permit allowed to 12
Yes.
midnight.
Correct.
And what's being recommended by staff is to continue to basically status quo.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And they're asking for 2 a.m. just for reference. That's what the ultimate request would be, for 2 a.m.
Okay, but we won't.
But you continue.
Off the table for today.
Off the table for now.
That's correct.
Not too long ago, we had a applicant asking for a CUP, requesting CUP for alcohol as well over at 17th and Grand. There was one of the conditions with the maintenance, a property maintenance requirement. I'm looking for that. Is that something that is also included as a condition within? Okay.
Thank you.
But that is revised from what it was previously, correct?
Well, it's not the long one page. It's revised that we have to go out there and connect with the property owner. Basically, it's been streamlined to reflect the Wingstop.
It's
Yes.
bringing the property owner into.
That's correct.
Into the maintenance of the.
Yes, sir.
Just checking for consistency and just, this is a discretionary action. We don't have to. If this is the property point that I mentioned at when we were last considering something similar, if they're asking the city for some above what they have as a right, if you will, then it definitely makes sense for us to be able to add some conditions, say, okay, we'll consider it if you also cooperate with us in property maintenance is one of those items. Is there, my last question that I have for the moment, is there an entertainment permit? I imagine at this location, is this?
That's correct. They do non-amplified music. Non-amplified music. They do, and that's pending. I've got that on my desk on hold, based on what happens here. Because if this gets approved, then it covers the expanded area. If it gets denied, it covers their existing facility. Okay. So it's turned in. It's ready to go.
That was my question. Okay.
So there is an entertainment permit on file today?
There is, and there's a new one pending.
Okay. Thanks, David. Any other questions of staff? We also asked Santa Ana PD to be here this evening, so if anybody from the commission has a question for Santa Ana PD, please ask it now. Bill? Go ahead.
So I do see the report that was here provided by the police department, table number 3. I'm trying to understand what does the 20% threshold mean, and what does it mean to be in the 43rd percentile?
So the city's broken up into 102 police grids. Some grids are small, some grids are larger. It's not broken up by census tract like the voting records are, where there's exactly the same number of people in a census tract. So what we try to do is, when we're doing these statistics and we're comparing them to come up with a 20%, we look at the census tract that the ABC applicant location is at and see where it is in our police grids. This one happens to be in a very busy area. It just means there's a lot of police activity, not necessarily dangerous police activity. A car stop for a disabled vehicle is recorded as an incident just like a robbery is. We have to look deeper to find the roots of it. So in this area, this police grid, it has the 5th highest level of activity. So it rises into that 20% and near the top of that 20%. California ABC wants us to review, areas of high criminal activity, and they look at that high 20% when they're issuing approvals for liquor stores and such. So yes, this is a high activity area, but we don't think that expanding this current ABC license is going to affect the operation or is going to negatively impact police activity in that area. And looking at the incident levels, we have very few calls for service over a 5-year period. You know, 1 call every 3 months, 1 report every 20 months. So we don't look at that location, that business location, as being anything high maintenance.
Any other questions of PD? Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any more questions of staff? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, have we received any written communication on this item?
Yes, we have. You have them in your hand.
Okay. Thank you. And at this point in time, would the applicant like to speak?
Good afternoon, good evening, Mr. Chair, McLaughlin, Commissioners. My name is Mark Gaughan. I am standing here before you this evening representing Maria Siebold, the sole owner of Hector's number 1, also known as Morisco's Hector's, located in the heart of the refurbished, or about to be refurbished, South Main Commercial District. Many of the things I'm about to say are going to be somewhat repetitive of what Vince has already covered, so I'm sorry for that, but I'll try to eliminate those out through some of my comments. While the staff report speaks for itself, I'm pleased that the staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit 2019-10 and the continuance of 2019-11. Both with conditions that the applicant is in agreement with to comply with throughout the life of the CUP, and possibly response to Commissioner Benveniti's question with regards to the items associated with maintenance. We are in agreement with that. I'd like to highlight a few points to assist you in your deliberations, to remind you that the prior actions were taken by the Commission. The original CUP was granted in 1988 and has been continued by current ownership since 2005. This CUP application is primarily to allow for the sale of alcoholic beverages in the existing restaurant space and to expand into the immediately adjacent space from the existing restaurant. In 2017, a similar application was made but denied by this Commission as the Commission felt as though that the police activity in the area was significant and asked the applicant to address the issue before granting the CUP. Since that time, activity has dropped significantly, primarily due to the operational improvements made by the management, and the police report included in the staff report, and you did that, and what you just previously heard, demonstrates that the steps taken have been successful. There also have been some less than favorable comments that I have received, that we have received, and I'd like to say this. We have taken, Maria and I have taken each of these comments very seriously and personally looked into each one. We have spoken to the police department, the staff, neighbors, fellow businesses, and concluded that all are anecdotal and there's no basis of fact. Should you hear anything less than complimentary comments, I ask that you sort through these comments and proceed based on the facts and not emotion. With regards to economic benefits, as mentioned, this restaurant is located in the heart of the soon-to-be refurbished South Main Commercial District. With this CUP, the restaurant will continue to make improvements to the site, inside and out, and we expect to generate additional sales tax revenue, increase the number of permanent jobs, and will provide additional dining options to the community. This project is a good project, and the analysis completed has determined that the project will provide a service that will contribute to the general well-being of the neighborhood, residents, and visitors,
and is in compliance with the City of Santa Ana's operational standards. Your approval of the CUP is sincerely requested. If there is additional time or additional questions that anyone would like to have, I'd look forward to the opportunity to be able to respond to those.
Thank you, Mark. Does any of the commissioners have any questions of the applicant? Go ahead.
Have you guys done, or has the city done any noise report to the community that's here? I mean, I'm not sure where the community is, but has there been a noise report or anything in regard to that?
It's generally a commercial area, and to my knowledge, there has been no noise report or noise report requested.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Cynthia.
You said it's generally a commercial area?
Yes?
Aren't there homes right behind it?
Yes, there are. There are on 3 sides. There is commercial.
So it's a neighborhood.
Right
it's
behind it on
behind
the, I believe it's the east side.
Okay, because that's not commercial. Just saying.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's a little strip mall, but what
That's correct.
surrounds it behind it is a neighborhood.
And by the way, that happens to be the neighborhood that the owner lives in.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, so.
Appreciate it. Okay, at this point in time, we will open for public hearing. Anybody who hasn't filled out a card at this moment and would like to do so, please come forward and fill one out and give it to the secretary. I'm going to start with Irma. Put you last. Oh, okay. Okay, Angie Gomez.
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioner. My name is Angie Gomez, and I am Vice President for Madison Park Neighborhood Association, and I am very opposed to the CUP that's being presented to you guys. I am from the neighborhood, and I not once saw Mr. Fergoso, who said he spoke to us. That's still yet to, I've never met him. We actually work, our Madison Park Neighborhood Association has a nonprofit where we work with the community, and when we do have community meetings and parent meetings, they're all against, I have not yet to hear one parent say, yes, let's extend their liquor license and let's extend their hours. Because I get that it's gonna be maybe financially more for them and for the city, but how about our people? How about our community? It's not financial gains for them. It's not positive for them. Fortunately, there's not a lot of police calls for police, but if you guys have maybe lived in Santa Ana for a long time or are around from Santa Ana, you know that our people sometimes don't call and they don't come to City Hall and they're easily intimidated. Unfortunately, the reputation has followed that restaurant, which we're not going to get to, but it is an intimidating restaurant where residents don't feel comfortable to call the police and make reports. So I just want to say that about noise complaints. It is very noisy. As a parent, I can't even go to the grocery store without seeing loitering. There's people still that are drinking outside in the parking lots. It's not a good fit for our city. Maybe financially, but to me, I feel people are worth more than money. We can't create environments where our kids are gonna see that. They're gonna see even people getting even more drunk. Yeah, they already offer beer. Now why have more of the liquor? For me, I don't understand that. I think it's very detrimental to our community and to our city, and that's not something that we represent. And I really love my city, and I am very involved in my city, and I feel that this is just gonna be a very bad thing if the city approves it. And it was already declined once, and I really hope you consider not accepting it for the second time. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Jorge Perez. Could be Jose? Sorry.
Yes.
Jose Perez. There you go.
Yes,
Sorry.
Mr.
I guess
Perez.
you put your middle initial in there. And I was
Yeah, that's a G.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm just here to support Mariscos Hector #1 because I've been a regular customer there, and I take my wife to eat for dinner sometimes, and the reason is after that we have to go somewhere else to get a margarita or get a drink, you know, a hot drink. All they, you know, we have there is a beer, so I'm in support of the liquor license. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Jose Becerra.
Yes, good evening. My name is Jose Becerra, and I'm in support of the license. I've been a customer, regular customer for many years. It's a wonderful place. I never have a bad experience. So for me, it would be great if I can order sometimes something other than beer. For me, it's a safe place. It's a family restaurant, so I totally support that license. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Bernie Amiric? Yeah.
Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Bernd Emmerich. I have been a customer at Marisco Sector number 1 since 2005. I never had a problem. I had good food, good service, and in favor of them to serve me a tequila once in a while. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie. Juan Tafara?
Good afternoon. My name is Juan Tarifa, and I support the Marisco sector because sometimes we are going with the family to eat, and the ladies they don't like beer. They like some like margarita, something like that. That's why I support that thing. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Juan. Jose Tafara. I just want to see them. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Jose Tarifa. That's actually my father. I do the business consulting for Maria Sebald and Actors One. I've been on board for a year, and I'm in support of the sale of the liquor license because I feel that with the outreach that Maria has done through the year, it's going to help a lot of with employment, and it's going to increase the revenue for her to employ more people in the city. So I'm in favor for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Javier Espinoza.
You mind if I translate for him?
Sure, that'd be fine. We appreciate it.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Yo soy empleado del Marisco Sector.
I'm an employee of Marisco Sectors.
Tengo 8 años, soy el Security Control Parking.
He's been employed for 8 years, and he's the security guard outside the parking lot.
La señora María Sebald, que es mi patrona, ella se preocupa mucho por los empleados, por los clientes y por los neighbors.
And Maria Sebald is always encouraging and helping out the employees and supporting the employees, and also looks after the customers.
Mi trabajo consiste en que cuando tenemos más alta ocupación en el restaurante, solo clientes del shop se pueden estacionar en el parking, ya que tenemos otro parking para empleados y gente como ventas o músicos.
My job consists in making sure that there's never an issue on the parking lot, and we have an additional parking across the street, so I make sure that employees and any band members that come and play at the restaurant park across the street to make sure that there's no overflow of cars in the parking area.
Ella todo el tiempo me dice que debo de tener en cuenta a los vecinos, en que no haya quejas de nuestros compañeros empleados, de nuestros clientes, de los proveedores, de los músicos, y que yo platique mucho con ellos para no causarles conflictos, ya que ellos a un lado de la calle tenemos unos pocos neighborhoods, y no quieren que cuando tengan visita la calle esté llena por parte de nuestros clientes.
Maria always makes sure, she lets me know that to always make sure that the neighbors are happy, make sure that there's not a lot of overflow of parking and a lot of traffic in that area, and just making sure that everything runs smooth.
Tengo 8 años en ese empleo y yo tengo mucho contacto con los neighbors. Cuando alguien se estaciona enfrente de su casa, ellos van conmigo y yo voy con el empleado, con el proveedor, con el músico que se estacionó con ellos y yo personalmente llevo el carro al parking de los empleados.
He's been working in that location for 8 years, so he's got to know a lot of the people around the neighborhood. Maria has her property across the street, so when anybody he knows that our vendors or band members are parking on the street, he makes sure to let them know not to park there and make sure that they remove their car from that area.
Yo no dejo como security, yo estoy reconocido como ser muy estricto en mi trabajo. Yo creo que alguno de ustedes me debe de conocer, ya que tengo mucho tiempo ahí. Yo no dejo que tome nadie allí. Yo no dejo que nadie fume marihuana porque es un lugar familiar. Aparte de Marisco Sector tenemos 3 locales más. Yo hago que esos dueños de locales estén contentos, que no tengan complaints de nuestras partes.
He says that he takes his job very serious and that he makes sure that no one drinks or smokes marijuana outside in the premises, and always make sure that the neighbors and everybody is happy. That maybe some of you guys known him since he's been working there a long time, so he's always there at the parking lot at Marisco Sector.
Y el control lo tenemos todo desde las 10 de la mañana hasta cerrar.
And he makes sure that everything is going well from 10 a.m. till closing time.
Okay, thank you, Javier. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Jose, for the help in the translation. Jose Gonzalez.
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Gonzalez. I'm resident from Santana. And the reason I'm here for this project because I have a family too. They like to go to the place to eat. Also, my mom too, they like the place sometimes to go because like Mother's Day is coming soon too. Every time she goes, let's go over here. And she want to drink something else. She don't drink beer because she's older, you know. And one a little shot sometimes or something, another drink is good for her. That's why I'm here to support the liquor license for Marisco Sector.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Juan Aceberto.
Hi, good evening. My name is Juan Acevedo, and I'm a regular customer for Marisco Sector for the last 15, 16 years, and I approve the license liquor. I think it's a great idea. I mean, sometimes we feel like to go, I'm a regular customer, and sometimes I don't feel to take like any beer or wine. I would love to have like a little margarita or something. I really approve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Joaquin Mihar.
Hi, my name is Joaquin. I cook for many years in Marisco Sector, and I come to support Marisco Sector because we work for increase the job for our families and support the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Joaquin. Arthur Newton.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. My name is Arthur Newton. I'm an attorney. My office is at 1502 North Broadway, where I've operated my law practice there for the last 25 years. Ms. Siebold is one of my clients. I'm very familiar with her business operation. I support the application, and I think a critical part that the Commission needs to consider, even if in view of any negative comments that are brought about against the application, is the 6-month review period. I think this is fair and equitable, and it would allow the applicant and more importantly the city staff to evaluate and investigate any factors that present any negative impact upon the community, and provide remedial action if necessary. This would allow the Commission to make a decision based on actual facts and evidence as opposed to speculation and hypothetical. It's consistent with the staff's recommendation. I believe it should be approved, and its approval is very appropriate. Also, one additional factor, the applicant, Ms. Siebold, it's been glossed over, I believe, by Mr. Gahn. She's a homeowner and a property owner in the residential area that's within that circle that's in your packet. So she therefore has a vested interest to maintain, seeing that the community is safe and compatible with other residences. It impacts her own property and her own financial well-being. Again, I would support the project and ask the Commission to approve it as recommended by staff.
Thank you, Arthur. Ramona Sevilla? Absolutely. Thank you for offering.
Buenas tardes a todos. Estoy aquí representando a mi comunidad, Madison Park. He sido presidenta también de la Asociación de Vecinos en el pasado y me consta que en varias de nuestras reuniones se presentó la gente muy preocupada por lo que está pasando en el otro establecimiento que tienen Marisco Sectors en la calle McFadden Standard.
So she was saying that she has been involved in her community for a long time. She was also a president in the past for Madison Park Neighborhood Association, and she's concerned because some of the residents have come to our meetings and informed us about their concerns in regards to the CUP, and also about the concerns about the other Marisco sectors that's also on McFadden and Standard.
Me preocupa que este establecimiento sea una copia de lo que está pasando en el establecimiento que ya les mencioné, McFadden Standard. Cuando la gente no quiere denunciar, no quiere reportar nada porque ha visto cómo sale personas del establecimiento con pistola en mano.
So she's saying that she feels that the main location is kind of the copycat of the McFadden and Standard, where we have people that have seen the restaurant clientele come out with weapons on their person.
Ahora, nosotros como asociación estamos trabajando para mejorar nuestra comunidad con fondos que hemos obtenido de los primeros fondos que recibimos fueron del California Endowment, que hasta ahora estamos trabajando todavía. Ofrecemos clases de ciencias para los niños en Madison, que es una escuela que en ninguna otra escuela se recibe este programa. Ofrecemos clases para adultos también. Queremos incluir a toda la comunidad para tener una mejor vida.
She's letting you guys know about a little bit of what Madison Park Neighborhood Association nonprofit does, which we offer Ballet Folclórico, Science Academy, and a lot of adult and children programming. And the reason for that is we want to better our community.
Al igual que estamos peleando también, tenemos proyectos como la justicia ambiental, estamos peleando también por la reubicación de los homeless, estamos en contra del graffiti. Eso es querer tener una comunidad mejor.
So one of the things she's added, another thing that we're doing also is we're fighting some environmental justice issues right now also that's affecting our community. ¿Y qué más dijo después de?
La reubicación de los homeless.
Oh yeah, and the homeless issues that happen in our city as well.
Para mí esto es muy importante también porque lejos de apoyar a la comunidad, a nosotros nos está haciendo el trabajo más difícil de crear una comunidad segura y que nuestros niños no miren como algo normal ver un borracho o un homeless en la calle.
So one of the things she's saying is that this establishment is not creating the kind of community she says she wants to create, as far as she doesn't think that the kids seeing their people drunk or homeless, those are things that are affecting our community, which is why she doesn't want them to have.
Por último, por último, solo quiero llamar su atención a ustedes al momento de dar su veredicto. ¿A quién quieren beneficiar? un grupo de personas que ya está obteniendo ganancias de los demás negocios que tiene, o a una comunidad que está trabajando por ella misma.
So, as Commissioner, the question she's asking is, who would you want to benefit? It's like the business owners who are already benefiting and who are already getting financially stable, or the community? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramona. Richard Santana.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Rich Santana. I'm the president of the Madison Park Neighborhood Association. And I'm here today to speak against the two items that are proposed in front of you. I understand that one is being pushed off for continuous. Look, I understand that in the city we need revenue, right? That's how we get our money. That's how we pay our city employees. However, when it comes to bad actors conducting business in a association that's working really hard to clean, educate, promote wellness in our neighborhood, which we face challenges, it's difficult to stand by the sidelines and allow this to happen. I have been in contact with some of the representatives of Marisco Hectors, and the community does not take them at all. They've showed up to our meetings. Our parents refuse to dialogue with them because of the culture they promote and what they have displayed. And you don't have to go inside their family establishment. You can go on their social media and learn for yourself quickly. A lot of the crimes do not get reported because of retaliation or fear of reprisals. A lot of crime does spill out of this business. For example, less than 2 blocks, we have the bike trail. There has been stabbings, shootings. There's been patrons who have left some establishments, not naming which one, but have been jacked, jumped, even by homeless people. And you're right, there is a residential zone. I live a couple blocks away from the establishment. I see it every day when they operate. I've had my wall, a drunk driver crashed into my wall. I live in a corner avenue of Orange. Now, if you're exiting this establishment, you only have 2 options. You can go down North Main Street or turn right onto Berkeley and go into residential zones. And if you're inebriated and you're trying to go around roundabouts and trying to avoid law enforcement from having to apprehend you or detain you for, maybe leaving the establishment drunk, you're affecting now our residents. And so I ask you that you either vote no, or you continue this item and actually have the city work hard to work with the community and bridge a better communication rather than rushing this order over. I took some quick notes, nothing big here. One of the notes that I took was parking. Parking is an issue. Folks are not going to cross the street. This is 4 lanes of traffic we're talking about to cross over. They're not using the signal signs to properly come into the restaurant. They're parking our